virtuosity, that is the moment that Joystiq Streams officially begins. When you get the obscurest possible Denzel Washington reference. I mean, we might go with Fallen next time, but for now it's 4 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. My name is Anthony John Agnello. I am Joystiq.com's community manager. Joining me today is Richard Mitchell, reviews content director at Joystiq.com. And the last time Richard and I were on the stream together, it was a very different situation. We were playing Titanfall with a veritable army.
That's right.
And Richard, we are not playing Titanfall today. We're playing something else.
No, this is, it has no giant robots that I'm aware of. We are playing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, the latest iteration of Donkey Kong Country to hit a Nintendo platform. In this case, the Wii U. You know what I should have done? I should have started out by saying, we are playing a new game for the Wii U.
This is a brand new game for the Wii U.
This is an actual new game that you can play on your Wii U.
This is the first... Is this the first Wii U game made by Nintendo in 2014? Is that what we're looking at?
Wait, no, there was a minigame.
NES Remix does not count.
Oh, yes. And I want to say... Oh, and Dr. Luigi.
That also... That's just a new mode. That is not to indict Dr. Luigi. I actually really enjoy it. But at the same time, actually, it's funny. Dr. Luigi has at least a little something in common with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze in that it is much harder to play Dr. Luigi than it is to play just regular old Dr. Mario.
I know. I'll just choose the gamepad as my primary display, and you can all be left in the lurch. And I'll just describe it as I'm playing it for you.
Just describe those magical...
The gorilla is running to the right. Do a control pad or left stick? We're gonna go with left stick.
I would actually recommend...
Oh, yeah?
I recommend going with its default control recommendation.
Okay. I believe that was the left stick.
Because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, as you will discover, Richard, is a little awkward to get a feel for right at first.
Okay.
It doesn't have that beautiful buttery feel that the old Donkey Kong Country games on Super Nintendo has, and it's not quite as awkward as it was with the Wii remote in Donkey Kong Country Returns. But yeah, it takes a second for you to get your fingers to do what you want.
Okay. Now I played Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D on the 3DS.
Oh.
And I don't know how that translates, but.
So this is for everyone joining us here in Joystiq Streams. This is officially Richard Mitchell's first time.
Yes.
Playing Donkey Kong Country Returns Tropical Freeze. This is not. We are not playing the beginning with Donkey Kong's lovely birthday party, for your edification. This is all new to Richard as well.
And this is
I don't know about you.
This is a lovely cutscene. I'm just gonna say it.
They have lovely cutscenes. These are all the whole game has some lovely looks. This is not. I was really hoping before this came out that they were somehow magically going to bring back the old reptile villains from the old game, the Kremlins. Yeah. Because they weren't showing the big final boss. Like, he was all shadowy, and I was like, maybe it's King Kremling, and he's just wearing a fur coat that he stole from Vin Diesel, and it'll be awesome, and then, like, all the old enemies will come back. But I guess Rare owns them. And
yeah, I don't know. But it's kind of like, like Super Mario Brothers 2, when it doesn't feel right because it's not Bowser.
Right.
It's like the big frog dude.
Poor Toad.
Although
speaking of somebody who needs a Pulp Fiction.
in fairness, I've never really been big on Rare's character designs. I think a lot of Rare's character work is kind of generic, which in some ways makes them perfect for what they do now, which is making a lot of Avatar stuff. But I think Donkey Kong is probably a standout of theirs for sure.
Yeah, I think it's really funny. Like, Rare always had a sort of strangely bulbous character design. You know what I mean? Like, you look at Donkey Kong Country, you look at Jet Grind Radio, Jet
Gemini.
Gemini.
Yeah.
And even, like, on into Cameo and Perfect Dark Zero, everybody just sort of had, like, these big, puffy cheeks.
Well, I'm just moving around a little bit. The thing that I always thought of is it looks like, you know, sometimes you go through, like, a game magazine, or if you're, like, scrolling through Gama Sutra, and you see ads for, like, you know, 3D Studio Max or whatever, and there's always some generic 3D character.
Right.
That to me is most Rare character design.
Yeah, right. Like an ad for Full Sail University in 2005.
Yes, there you go.
Right.
Now, this is interesting because we're starting out a Donkey Kong game with a swimming section. That's surprising.
Yeah, and as everyone can probably hear in the chat, as soon as you go underwater, that awesome, sweet David Wise music that is in Tropical Freeze. They brought back the original composer of the original Donkey Kong Country, who was with Rare forever, David Wise. And you can hear his influence right away. It's
it's really good music.
Those smooth, new wavy tones.
Oh,
Not new wave.
I should have gone up there. No, I can't. Oh, but I got all these bananas. Also, here's some fun inside baseball for everyone at home. I neglected to set up a separate sound source for this stream, so now everything I'm hearing in this game happened about 5 seconds ago. So my audio is not synced with what I'm doing. So that's my excuse if I'm terrible, is what I'm getting at. This is a very pretty game.
Isn't it? And
it looks great.
Yeah,
I think that grasshopper just flipped me off.
God, those grasshoppers are deeply rude.
They run the place.
This game, Pikmin 3, and Super
back
Mario
here,
3D World are the three games that every single time I look at them, I think to myself, the Wii U does not need anything more than what it has.
No, and I think it goes to show you how important visual design is. Like Super Mario 3D World is beautiful. I think even New Super Mario Bros. U is a very good looking game. I'm gonna smash you if I can. And this may not be coming across in the stream too well, but this is all running at 60 frames per second, and it looks great.
It's super smooth. Alex4409 in the chat was just mentioning that he hadn't picked up... Actually, Alex, I realize that Alex can also be a woman's name. If I have mixed up your gender, I apologize. Alex4409 was saying that he hasn't picked up a Donkey Kong game since the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
And in fairness, Donkey Kong games have been a little bit sporadic since the mid-90s. They've been few and far between. There was the Bongo games for the GameCube, which I love, but those are definitely an acquired taste. Have you stuck with the Donkey Kong Country series?
I have not, and I'm actually struggling to remember the name of the Bongo games. And
Donkey Kong Jungle Beat and Donkey Konga 1 and 2.
Yes, Donkey Konga is the one I'm thinking of. And I haven't really stuck with them very much. In fact, the last Donkey Kong game I played was Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, which was the 3DS remake of the Wii game.
And was that your first experience with it? Had you played the Wii game?
I played the... Yes. I hadn't played the Wii game, but I played the original Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country games. Which is how I know that, for instance, I can roll off the edge of this platform and then still jump.
See, the 3D release was the version of that game that I liked the most. Even though it didn't look quite as nice as it did on the Wii, the fact that you had to use motion controls to do that roll move on the Wii version killed it. Just killed it. Because you can't, like, you know, I'm not one of those people who automatically dismisses motion controls. I think you can do a lot with motion controls, but you don't put them in a game that requires split-second precision,
right? And
like a Donkey Kong Country.
As Ludwig, our editor-in-chief, who actually did the review of this particular Donkey Kong Country, he noted that, blessedly, the Wii U version of this game is free of stupid gamepad gimmicks.
Yeah, no gamepad gimmicks. And I've actually heard some people, you know, say, "Oh, well, it's such a waste to just have the gamepad blank when you're playing Donkey Kong Country using the gamepad." So, if anybody out there who doesn't know, the gamepad screen just goes black. There's not even a logo.
Yeah,
for the
there's
game.
not like a map or stats of the stuff that you found or anything. Which
And that's
I wonder
great.
if that helps the battery last longer. 'Cause that is a
Richard,
complaint.
Firkino in the chat is wondering if you have a black or white Wii U.
I have a black Wii U. That is the special one, whichever one that is. The one with more space. That was
Now there are no special ones anymore. Now they're all just
okay.
those,
Well,
right?
this is back from the launch, and this was generously provided by Nintendo. I'll come right out and say it. I still am not sold on the Wii U as a platform. I've played some pretty good games on it. I loved Zombie U, but it's just one of those things that I haven't gone out and bought one with my own money yet. Which is something I can also say about the Xbox One, incidentally. I did buy a PlayStation 4.
So what does it take for you to get a console? Like what is your criteria? I've had a set of rules for deciding whether or not I was going to get a console since I was like 16.
I want everyone
and
to
the rule is
appreciate this walrus with his ridiculous shorts. Or I guess those are pants for him. God, I love that. He looks great. Do I have specific criteria? I think, you know, what it boils down to is, like, is there just a game that you just have to have? And that's maybe harder to justify these days because, I mean, these consoles cost a lot. They do.
They're really expensive.
And I think even by historical standards, but I'm trying to think, like, what was it? Like, the PlayStation 4... Actually, that had a lot of technology that I really liked. I thought it ran well. I liked, you know, all the games that were coming out for it, and surprisingly, oh, I know what to do with this guy. Bam! All the people on Joystiq on our staff were like, yeah, I'm going with PS4, which is a big shift for our staff. Because most of the Joystiq staff before that was a lot of Xbox 360 fans.
There is just... I don't want to derail you, because
Sure.
I think that's fascinating. But Jordan Mallory in the chat just said, "Where's Tropical Marvel?" And I am assuming that he means he wants like a sort of Marvel vs. Capcom game in the tropical freeze setting. And if such a thing could exist, if I could have this game, but Tron Bonne and like Strider and Iron Man as my characters, I would play that every day, forever.
I imagine, sort of imagine the adventure sections of the Smash Brothers series.
Yeah, there you go.
Only make it an actual good platformer.
There's a lot of people concurring that it's that one game that you just have to play is the thing that sort of sells you a console. Double Taco is talking about Valkyria Chronicles, sold on the PS3, and Gravity Rush sold on the Vita. Gravity Rush was the game that I played on PS Vita where I thought to myself, I'm glad I have this machine. because this game is something truly special. And
well, like for me, the PS3, I really wanted Uncharted 2, and I wanted The Last Guardian, which is probably never going to come out.
the poor Last Guardian. I
missed 2 puzzle pieces. This is unacceptable.
Richard, I like watching you play this because I know how hard this game gets. And it's infuriating.
No,
look at that. Oh, look at that.
Fully aware that this is going to get much harder. This is level 1.
Everybody, yeah. Now there are people in the chat laughing about The Last Guardian. This is not... We have no insider knowledge from, like, you know, about the existence of Last Guardian. Nobody does. But if somebody asked me to bet, will Last Guardian come out? My bet is yes, it will come out, and I think that game was brought into the PlayStation 4 fold at least a year and a half ago. I think that just before Fumito Ueda resigned, that somebody was probably like, you know what? We have this new thing coming out. You're going to take forever to do this. We're taking forever to do this. Let's make sure that when it comes out, it looks right.
Okay, so I can see that Tropical Freeze has the same kinds of power-ups that they did in Returns. Things that make this very difficult game much easier. I don't have the ability to buy these yet, but something to know. Yeah, I was really, really excited about The Last Guardian. I thought it looked great. I wanted my kitty dragon, and then it just fizzled away, and it was unfortunate. But there have been some really great games on the PlayStation 3 since, like Last of Us and stuff like that. I think, you know, I don't want this to be like a down on the Wii U stream, but you know.
No, well, the thing that I was getting to is, like, I think that at this point, for me personally, I like Nintendo games enough that I would have happily, like, if I was, you know, going to purchase a Wii U today, there is enough for me to justify that purchase. There are enough games for it at this point that I think are just worth
I think that's a fair thing to say, especially now that 3D World is out. I think maybe just between 3D World and like Zombie U, I think if you are a serious quote-unquote hardcore gamer, you're going to find enough to keep you busy.
Yeah, and there are, you know, a lot of people talk about, oh, third-party ports are terrible on Wii U, and I think that there are a lot of things that are actually very worth playing. If you've never played Deus Ex Human Revolution and have a Wii U, that version is spectacular, and that game is spectacular. And, you know, this, like, Donkey Kong, it's funny, I find this game so difficult. Like, especially once you get into the later stages, it is so hard, and the bosses are so hard. But, I will probably not play it again for many years, now that I've finished it, but I'm glad that I played this game, and I'm glad that it exists. Am I sad that Retro made this instead of a new Metroid Prime?
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
I mean, imagine, look at this visual fidelity, and imagine Retro, a proven studio when it comes to the Metroid franchise, making even like a 2D Metroid that looked this good.
Yeah. Oh man, God. For Kino in the chat actually just asked what we think of Lego City Undercover. And for Kino, that is a Wii U exclusive that I think a lot of people forget about. And it's a cool game. It was nice. I like it more when the Lego games don't talk. I don't want to hear those characters talking. I like it more when they just sort of grunt. Yeah. But yeah, Undercover is a cool world. Richard, did you play that?
I didn't play Undercover. Sinan Kuba, one of our writers, wrote that up for us. And liked it, but didn't think it quite did what it could have, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it suffers from the same issue that I think all of the LEGO games do which is really poor pacing. They restrict far too much for far too long.
I am really liking these like hidden underwater areas. That's cool.
Oh man, I'm really hoping that you get out of the first world before the end of this stream, because each of the different worlds in this game are just so distinct, and there's no way you'll get to like the more extensive water levels because they're pretty far in. But man, are they excellent!
Well, maybe I'll stop trying to find every secret then.
Every secret, just plug through.
Ow!
Zerg for Smog actually asked a really interesting question, and I think it's one of the reasons that people have a strange impression of the Wii U is because of this problem. Zerg for Smog asked, "What is the controller you need to play this game?" And the answer is you can play it with all of the different controllers that Wii U supports. You can play it with a weak remote. You can play it with the Wii U Pro controller. And you can play it with the gamepad. And I have not tried it with a Pro controller. Ludwig tells me that is the way to play. I personally enjoyed playing it with the gamepad. I like the gamepad a lot.
Yeah, I think the gamepad's fine.
Richard, when you play Wii U games, do you tend to just play with the gamepad, or do you go for the Pro controller?
What do I do? I'm trying to figure out what to do with this sandbag. I think most of the time it's Pro controller, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, most of the time I guess it's gamepad, because that's there. And
right.
you always have to charge the gamepad at all times, and the Pro controller is very strange to me because it feels exactly like an Xbox 360 controller, except the buttons are in the wrong place. Because the A and the B buttons are switched on Nintendo platforms, and the X and Y buttons. So I do have that problem sometimes with Pro controller because just I'm so used to the Xbox control that my fingers go to the wrong place.
Faux Ben was just saying that he tends to like using the gamepad because he has big hands. And I will say, you know, for as strange as Nintendo's controllers have been on their consoles over the past decade, I love that they allow me to keep my hands wider than I usually can with a controller. And this is true on the gamepad, but even better, that was the best thing about the Wii Remote. The fact that my right and left hand didn't have to be, like, synced up in the middle.
Right.
I could have them really far apart with a nunchuck in one hand. Kylie Ori is trying to play Twitch Plays Pokemon with Donkey Kong. That cannot happen in here, Kylie Ori, and we would ask you to not break up Richard's flow.
I'm gonna guess that's actually Kyle Orl, because I'm betting you that's Mr. Kyle Orland, one of our colleagues and fans.
Is that Kyle Orland? He of Ars Technica? Is that what is happening? Kylie Orley.
Although I'm gonna start calling him Kylie Orley now.
That's it from here on out.
One of the mechanics you may have noticed, I picked up both Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong now, and they give you a different power. Diddy Kong lets you sort of float in the air for a couple seconds, and Dixie actually gives you basically a second jump. Oh jeez. Get off me.
Richard, I just got totally sucked up, actually, watching the game for a second. I was sitting there, I was like, whoa, look at Donkey Kong in the water. And I find it hilarious That even I know all of these levels already, but the game can still do that to my brain. I think Nintendo should have, to promote Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, sent out VHS tapes about what the game played like, much as they did with the original Donkey Kong Country.
Look at this! I can use Dixie Kong's ponytail as a propeller.
As a rotor! Yeah!
Then I went through a mysterious portal. Oh, no! I'm not ready for well, I'll leave the level, just for your sake.
Richard Virender Jubal in the chat was just saying that Dixie was a wonderful addition to the game. Do you like the feel of Dixie compared to Diddy in Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D? Do you like having that lift?
I do. It's very different. And for those of you who haven't played these games, the extra characters that you come across are basically little buffers that make the very difficult parts of this game much easier. You can get through all of these levels without them. It's just more difficult.
Faux Ben just asked, is there a ton of hidden stuff in these levels like there was in the old games? Faux Ben, there is a ton of hidden stuff in this game. So Richard has been trying to get the KONG letters that are spread throughout the levels. And Richard, you're also trying to get all of the puzzle pieces.
That's right.
Which are very cleverly hidden
look,
throughout.
a Zelda joke. Dangerous to go alone. Take one of these.
But in addition to just the stuff that you can find in every level, there are a plethora of hidden exits. And Richard just found, one of the portals that will take you to a hidden exit. They are deviously hidden in this game. They are incredibly, incredibly difficult to find. You can also unlock a stage by collecting all of the KONG letters in each island. And eventually, if you find all of this jazz, there's a whole other island that unlocks.
So I've discovered a capsule machine you can buy toys from, and I'm getting Shenmue flashbacks.
Richard, Kylie Orley? Kylie Orley was just mentioning the animal friends as well. The ostrich and the...
yeah.
The shark. It wasn't a shark, it was a swordfish. And then there was a frog. And the swordfish, the frog, and the ostrich are all gone, which is super sad. But the Nintendo producer who worked on this with Rare, not Rare, but the guy who worked on all of the old Donkey Kong Country... not Rare, not Retro. The guy who worked as the producer on the whole series has said that he wants all those dudes in here. He wants all the animal friends. So, next time, hopefully.
Yeah. Is the rhinoceros? Ramby, I think his name is?
Ramby is in play. And he is... His levels sure are not frustrating at all. Not frustrating at all. Oh, Faux Ben was mentioning the spider, and I can't... I guess the spider's in Donkey Kong Country 2 or 3? I don't remember those nearly as well as I remember the
My
original.
Super Nintendo knowledge stops with 1, unfortunately. I never really had a Super Nintendo as a kid. Oh, I bet this is going to open a big hole in the ground. I'm going to fall in it. Oh.
Dr. Fred in the chat just made a really, really good point, and that Retro's levels in Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze are so tightly designed that if the older animals were there, the entire level would really need to be based around them.
Well, and that's how it works in Returns 3D.
And that's how it works in this one, yeah. You can't just sort of like throw them in and then have like a different locomotive option throughout the level.
Yeah, no, they are very explicitly put in these levels. Oh wait, get back here, Magic Banana!
Elias Bakos in the chat is saying, mine carts? Mine carts? And yes, mine carts. And believe it or not nearly enough mine carts in this game.
They were one of the best part of Returns.
Oh man, the ones, especially late in this game, are so good. And they finally sort of take the opportunity afforded by rendering everything in 3D and do some really zany camera work in the minecart levels. And one of them, later on, spoiler warning everyone, one of the late minecart levels in Tropical Freeze has, the camera will pan behind Donkey Kong, and you have to jump right and left to transfer between tracks. And there are like obstacles in front of you, and it's just at the exact same time as you're trying to make these really difficult jumps that are in front of you as well. It's so good. It's just delicious. I don't know why I needed to make like eating noises. I think I'm just hungry. Oh, it's so. Those are the banana noises. Actually, let's not make banana noises. That'll get so gross really fast.
I just hope everyone's marveling at how really good I am at this.
Oh man, just so much better than Ludwig would have been.
Well, yeah.
A pretty cool dude was saying that is, and no, Anthony, that's not good. That's the nightmare. It is.
Oh no!
It is.
Hubris. That was hubris right there.
Wow, Kimurai in the chat just asked another sort of interesting question. And also a typical of Wii U question. Actually, you did beef it finally. Kimurai asked, is this game going to be on the Wii? And no. No, it is not. And no Wii U games will ever be put on the Wii. I think Nintendo has completely abandoned Wii game, like new Wii game production at this point. They're not putting anything else out on that box.
Well, and I think, as harsh as it is, that seems kind of wise to me.
Oh, I agree.
Because there is so much confusion over the Wii U brand in general. Which, oh, jeez. Oh, vines. That is one of the primary problems. In fact, I would say that even Donkey Kong, as good as it is sort of a symptom of that too. Because one of the things that they've been doing on the Wii U is releasing a lot of games that look very, very similar to a lot of games on the Wii.
Yeah.
This is a brand new Donkey Kong game, but it looks and plays pretty much exactly like the other one that's also on the Wii.
And, people in the chat were discussing this before, the fact that the Wii U is excellent for platformers. Mm-hmm. There's this, there is Rayman Legends, and like that is the version of Rayman Legends to play. There's New Super Mario Bros. U, there's New Super Luigi U, which is almost an entirely different game. There's Super Mario 3D World. As much as I love platformers, and platformers are, easily in my top 3 favorite genres of games, and I love that the Wii U is spoiled for great platformers. Right. Nintendo would be well served by getting a little bit of variety into that lineup in the near future.
Well, in some ways, it kind of reminds me of the old Nintendo 64 conundrum. Except, I mean, the 64 launched with an excellent game, but there was a stretch there that was basically people just waiting for Zelda. And
Pilot Wing 64, you mean? That was that launch game, right? No, that's not. That's not accurate.
But there was a lot of time where people were just they're waiting for the new Zelda game to come out, and it was delayed, and plus compound that with, like I said before, the issue of a lot of very similar games that are similar enough to be confusing to a lot of consumers. I think that it's very possible that that's one of the problems that Wii U's facing. Because I can easily see a parent looking at this game and saying, "Don't you already have this?"
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like the old action figure thing. It's like, "No, Mom, that's Donatello. I want Raphael."
Can't you see he has the purple bandana, Mom, Dad. Kyle Erland is asking if somebody said Pilot Wings. My friend, someone said Pilot Wings. Right here. What was it? It was Nestor's face on the Statue of Liberty in Pilot Wings 64, right?
No, I never played that one.
Oh, it was great.
Actually, Pilot Wings is a pretty big gap in my Nintendo knowledge, to be honest.
It's, oh man, if you ever get a chance, and everybody in the chat, if you haven't played it either, play the Super Nintendo Pilot Wings, because it's weird as hell. There's actually a story in Pilot Wings on Super Nintendo. Adam Rosenberg, my good friend and nemesis, is hanging out in the chat. And he's crowing about how he wants a Gumshoe revival, and I'm right there with him. Speaking of old Nintendo games. Iggy Newhope says, Pilot Wings, less than Blast Core. Speaking of old, rare-made Nintendo games, wow, Blast Core. Why don't we get some Blast Core trophies in Super Smash Bros. Wii U? That would be pretty awesome.
Well, here's a question for the people in the chat. Since we are talking about Nintendo, I'm sure there's a lot of Nintendo fans in here to watch this. Smash Brothers, Wii U, 3DS, or both for you? Because I'm seriously thinking I might just go 3DS.
Yeah, actually, now I'm thinking about it. And for the funny thing is I love Super Smash Bros. Melee. That's the one I love the most.
I think that's a pretty commonly held opinion.
But the thing is I think I might like Brawl more had I still been in college and lived in a dorm.
Sure.
Or been in high school and I had a huge group of friends that I could always play Brawl with. And so now, you know, Richard, you and I are both married men.
Yep.
Does your wife game?
She does. She likes certain genres, and there's other things like a couple weeks ago, actually, we were basically snowed in here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and she had a lot of homework to do. She's, you know, going for her graduate degree, and she was doing her homework while I was playing Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
Oh man, that's spooky.
Because those are fun, actually entertaining games to watch. They have a good story, so like she likes those games. We used to play Fatal Frame together and stuff like that. But then platformers, like we played so much New Super Mario Brothers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, unfortunately my wife does not play, and she, you know, in order to get her to play anything, it's usually got to be something that doesn't require reflexes. It's got to be like you don't know jack. So unfortunately, my multiplayer Super Smash Brothers options are not that.
Yeah, something like Smash Brothers is something that is usually like my guy friends and stuff.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people actually going both ways. They want 3DS. They want Wii U. There are a couple of college students in the chat saying, you know, Wii U is the way to go.
Check it out. I'm bouncing around Scrooge McDuck style.
Richard, we've also got a shout out for Tulsa, Oklahoma in the chat. Oklahomans represent.
Hey, buddy, you should come down to the Comedy Parlor, March 28th. I'll be performing. Not stand-up. I do improv. Just so everyone knows.
I will say also that the thing that is kind of like convincing me that I want both 3DS and Wii U versions of Smash Brothers, even though I don't have anyone to play with, is the art style on 3DS is super cool.
It is. It's
very
interesting. I
love the sort of cartoony, like comic book look.
I think they've done a very good job. I mean, just based on what I've seen, sort of capitalizing on what the 3DS does well.
And speaking of Super Smash Brothers, a new challenger is about to arrive here on Joystiq Streams.
Hey everyone, it's Alexander. I just want to point out, I cannot believe you two are complaining. I get the couch co-op thing. Like, Smash Brothers is imperative for couch co-op. You need to have your buddies there just to punch them in the leg. So I don't think that's appropriate spouse time. And that's what was driving me crazy, because I'm like,
Alexander, you're clearly somebody that's never played You Don't Know Jack with my wife. Because let me tell you that now, I had to get a restraining order against her when I won one time. And it got violent. That's not true, everybody in the chat. I am not, my wife does not hit me when we play the game. That's not a thing that happens.
Terrible people. But yes, Smash Brothers is I mean, pointing out the whole college thing, I mean, that's what that game is made for. It's made for having friends over and sitting on a couch and just, when you get, like, hit off the screen, you just punch them right in the thigh.
Oh, yeah, God. And that is the way that game needs to be played. Even if you're playing it online, you're just not getting that experience in any way, shape, or form. It's just, you end up slapping
Here's
your
another
own
question. Does anyone trust in any way, I'm not getting the hang of these controls, that Nintendo will actually provide a serviceable online component this time?
I think it'll be very basic. I mean, like,
I'm fine with it being basic as long as it's functional.
It's funny. All right, Saucy Dash in the chat actually just asked, would the Joystiq crew recommend that Wii U gets a hardware upgrade? Up to 250 gigabyte, onboard memory at this point, like a proper hard drive rather than the meager flash that they have. And I think that a hardware upgrade would be great, but I think the thing that Nintendo needs for the Wii U more than anything is a software upgrade. That thing is just not usable yet. The OS is a mess, even after the updates. It doesn't work properly. And I think Miiverse is really charming, but something else it needs is a better online infrastructure. It badly needs better infrastructure. And Smash Brothers Online is going to suffer because of the infrastructure that is in place.
See, Anthony hasn't been around long enough to have seen this, but Richard was there the last time we went through the Smash Brothers experience on the original Wii, and to get around the this is true joystick story. To get around the voice chat functionality issues and the online functionality issues, not only did we have a mega list up on Joystiq of everyone sharing their Wii code.
Oh my god!
To be able to, it was huge, massive.
Yeah, because remember, all you kids watching at home, there was a time when you couldn't just pop in a friend code and that guy's on your list forever. You had to add your friends for every single game you played.
So not only did we have to do that, but on top of this, we would actually use Xbox Live voice communication. So we would have our 360 on at the same time we would have our Wii's on. So we would be playing the game on Wii, but then also be in party chat on the 360.
Well, no, actually, it goes further than that, because this was before there was party chat. We would open up a Halo 3 party.
That's right!
That is amazing!
That's right!
You would have a Halo 3 match going just so everybody could talk to each other while playing Smash Brothers.
Yep.
That is heroism. That is heroism in practice. And
I love this phonograph. It's playing the old...
man, you found one of those exits. I missed that
Anthony,
one.
did you not get the memo? I'm really good at video games.
This is what I get for doubting. Oh man, another true story of sort of joystick history. This is, years before Susan, Arndt, or I worked for Joystiq. But the first time I ever worked with Susan was on an essay that, and I swear to God this is true, and I meant it, this was not ironic, It was called In Defense of the Friend Code. And I actually think that there is a certain warped perspective. You have to get yourself into a very specific mindset, but I think that Nintendo was coming from at least a good place.
Oh, are you kidding? No, a certain perspective. Like, try 5 minutes on any Xbox Live game.
Yes.
I mean, yes, there are so many things I could never say on this stream because I'm a gentleman. So yeah,
Gentlemen.
I get where they were coming from, but
it wasn't just about the politeness factor that I thought was interesting about friend codes. It was that I appreciated the idea that before you started to play with somebody online, you had to go through the rigmarole of actually introducing yourself.
Sure.
There had to be this very personal, and maybe this is the wrong word, this intimate moment where you exchange information.
Well, it is very much a system that was designed with, this is for your real friends. These are for your friends in real life.
Right.
And maybe this is sort of an oversimplification of the quote-unquote Nintendo audience, but these are like the guys at school or whatever that you want to play games with, and I get where they were coming from. It just seemed
it just didn't work out.
Inelegant, I think is the word. Can I just talk about how great this level is?
It is so I did not find this level when I played the game, and it is just gorgeous.
It's got some really
trying
great...
to look up what the name of the Ubisoft game this reminds me of. It was that Shadow World game.
Outland.
Yeah,
right.
These sort of Ikaruga of platformers.
With the red and blue bullets.
Yes.
Man, that was a looker.
This has a really great, funky soundtrack. Hopefully it's coming through.
Oh man, Robert 2K16 says that Samus's spaceship is in the background of this stage.
Is it? Have I passed it by?
Go find her. See if she's still talking about the baby.
Oh god.
I'm gonna risk indicting myself a second time, even after I said that I loved friend codes. I love Other N. I don't like Other N.
Stop it.
Other N. I said it, Alex.
Like you love all of it?
Especially the ending. After you beat it and have to go back in, spoiler warning to everyone, you fight Mother Brain as the true final boss when you go back into the space station.
Oh my god, I just killed a fry guy. Sorry. I was attacked by a fry guy and it freaked me out.
A pretty cool dude is for me, and I am a terrible human being.
Okay. Alright, Anthony. Other M was mechanically, I enjoyed it. But let's dig deeper. Alright, so you love Other M, as you say.
Yes.
How did you not just fold in on yourself when Samus had to be saved from the boss by that big helpful man?
Oh god, and that there is stuff in there that is tragic. And the only reason that I think my love can exist is that I have post-traumatic stress syndrome when it comes to that game, because I just don't remember any of the cutscenes.
I think. Okay, I was gonna say post-traumatic stress. That makes sense. For a second, I thought you were I think you mean Stockholm syndrome or something. No, that's. See, mechanically, I thought that game was really good, and the fact that they did that with the Wii's control scheme was great. Because Team Ninja, I mean, for all of their narrative issues, they're really good at designing mechanics.
Yes. Susan, I'm going to try and bring Susan Arndt into the call.
Is she going to defend Other M now?
Susan is saying I would like to comment on Other M, but can't until Anthony gives me the power to do so.
Oh, okay.
I want you to comment.
Now, in fairness, I think giving Samus a voice at all is problematic, because prior to that, the only voice she had was whatever you imagined in your head.
Yes,
I think before that game,
her...
Samus was me, basically. It was whoever was playing the game.
Well, that's not totally true, because she has a voice in Fusion.
Yes, but you still can't hear it.
You can't hear it, but it's very distinct. There's a lot of character in the things that she says. I think what's so frustrating about the story in Other M is the fact that it backtracks on her relationship with her commanding officer. Like, it's sort of a very equal...
I'm just trying to understand, Anthony, if you're trying to do that opposition paper work right now. Like, you're being paid to just be contrarian.
I have played I have 100%ed Other M twice. I love that game.
Where is Susan? Get Susan in here.
Okay, look.
Uh-oh! I'm in for it.
Now, you'll note that the reason that Anthony likes Other M is because he had to give me the ability to comment. Much like Samus couldn't do anything until the big man gave her the power to do it.
Oh.
This is my favorite moment.
I walked directly into it.
Out the door. This is Anthony walking right into it. Boom!
Susan, you can't use power bombs yet. It's not tough to use power bombs. Only use power bombs when I tell you it's okay to use power bombs.
I'm sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just a girl.
Does Samus actually say at any point in that game, I'm just a girl? Is that...
I'm pretty sure it's implied the entire time.
All right, you know, the whole thing that started this conversation, I'm at the end of this level, and I've utterly missed Samus's ship, wherever it is, so...
I was stuck on the Fry guys, who were just awesome. I love them.
Yeah, I like them too.
I don't think they appear to be in the game, too. I think this is like... a pretty cool dude in the chat. Samus confirmed to be Gwen Stefani. That is true.
But she does have some questionable fashion choices.
I was gonna say Harajuku armor is an unlockable in the
oh
next
my god!
Metroid.
Yeah, I want to see like a Samus like the various suit, except it has like a little Bo Peep skirt. Like that's.
So wait, you guys do realize how much worse Other M could have been, because she could have been forced to marry Gavin Rosdale.
And ruined Bush!
It really did. He's not even joking about that. It's so true.
This
bayou is busted. Sorry.
As far as yes, I think Other M mechanically was great, but there were some really cheesy storytelling gimmicks and devices in it, like the stupid I gave her the thumbs down, respected her. It's like I don't know. Yeah. It's just not my kind of storytelling.
Am I allowed to do anything that will save my life yet? No? Okay. I'm sorry. I'll go make some muffins.
Oh great. You have
I'll leave the world saving to all you strong men.
I'm actually being the game so bad now. I want it to be like, oh, the last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is in peace.
Now get back to the kitchen.
We'll make more muffins now.
No, I don't.
Muffins.
I failed. So embarrassing. Oh, hey, Kylie Orley says that Susan should be the voice actress for the next Metroid game.
Yes. I will happily do that. Happy to. Sign me up. Not a problem.
I think they should get the old actor who did Mother Brain on Captain N to come back.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, minecart level! Whee!
This is actually the stream is almost wrapping up, but a little like last question for our collected Joystiq crew here.
I'm sorry, Susan. Susan, can you say what Foben just put in the chat, please?
The Metroids are dead. Finally, I can bake these cookies.
Little like little Metroid-shaped sugar cookies.
Yup.
They're good and good for it.
I'm sorry,
so
Anthony.
sorry.
I think you were trying to save some dignity.
You were trying to do your job. I'm so sorry.
This is not dignified at all. No, it's a serious question. Would you play a Metroid game that does not star Samus Aran?
Other M didn't star her, so
Right.
apparently you would.
Okay, fair enough. But like, imagine that character is just taken out of the picture entirely. Whether it's the horrific version of it that showed up in those cutscenes, or the super awesome one that we all know and love from Prime.
They
They should
I'd really like to be in the next game, but I have to have dinner ready.
I'll just whatever the man at Nintendo says I should do. That'll be the plan.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, it's not Samus isn't really a character per se. Samus's armor is the character.
Yes.
Sure.
So when you say, do you want to have a Metroid? Would you play a Metroid that doesn't have Samus in it? The question is really, would you play a Metroid that doesn't have the suit? You know, that eventually levels up and gets powers, and then it can be a ball, and then it can unlock this door and all that. That's the question you're actually asking.
Well,
and that's,
I was
and
gonna
that's
say
what I was getting to.
they kind of did that though with Metroid Prime Hunters, because there were a bunch of characters you could play that were not Samus.
Well, yeah, yes and no. You couldn't actually play the game, the campaign,
No, that's true.
as them. Yeah, like it's so funny. You know, Richard, you were saying that Samus is you. You get to be Samus, and what's
Right.
so galling about the story elements in Other M is the fact that not only does it wrench that personalization out of it, it wrenches away all of the things that were implied, you know, that make her strong and interesting and wonderful.
Right.
I mean, I am more galled by the story elements in Other M than I am in previous ones, but let's not forget that in all of the Metroid games, with the exception of the Prime games, it was, beat this game as fast and as well as possible, and Samus gets naked. Like,
You're
That's-
only interesting if a man loves you.
Like, I think they're all problematic in that way. And I part of me wonders if people would be upset if you still have that armor, you still have that helmet.
Are you saying that the end-game reveal is that it's not Samus?
Yeah! Why
I would
not?
be down for that, yes.
I think that would be cool. Single and Lovin' It says Metroid Other Mom.
So basically, what you want is at the end of the next game that it's a bald white dude in the suit underneath there.
I want it to be
you know what
James Carvel. I want it to be James Carvel in the Samus suit. And
Here's what I want. I take off the suit, and it's some like 50-year-old chain smoker. Hey, I've saved the universe.
Hey!
I'm gonna go have a gin now.
Okay, now-
Is there anything else? Are we good? Okay.
Here's one final question for everyone in the chat room who's played the original Metroid or Super Metroid. When you get to the end and you're in Mother Brain's chamber, did you just assume that the flaming red things she shot at you were SpaghettiOs? Because I did.
The last Metroid's in captivity. The universe is at peace.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch my stories.
Oh God. Samus went out for a pack of smokes and a bottle of gin, and I never saw her again.
I told that baby Metroid I'd be back for her.
I need my
Not without
alimony.
my Metroid.
Without my Metroid.
Starring Sally Field.
On that note, it is just about 5 p.m. here on Tuesday. This has been Joystiq Streams. I don't even know what we call this edition. This is something special. This has been more than a Joystiq Stream. If you have enjoyed this, this brand of entertainment, this brand of joy and glory that we bring to you, you can tune in every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on twitch.tv/joystiq. Go to joystiq.com where we post up the stream as well, and you can see us there. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/joystiq. Search for us on Facebook. There are only a few days left, but we are also running a community event on Facebook called 4 in February. There are literally 3 days left. So if you would like, you can try to pick 4 games and finish them by the time the month ends. We would all be really impressed. Just play Metroid Other M 4 times. That's my recommendation.
Oh.
That's what I'm going to do.
We have a request for Twitters, specifically yours, Anthony.
Oh, my Twitter account. Oh, Virender Jubal. My Twitter account is @AJohnAgnello.
Let's just all give ours. I'm at the Richard M, by the way.
And Susan Alexander?
I'm putting it in the chat.
You're putting it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you don't want people to misunderstand it.
Text. Wait, we can type things? This is so confusing. Yes, and if you actually want even more of this stream goodness, we're doing a little thing that we've only been doing for the past month or so, a little something called Joystiq Tiny Streams. It's just like this, but boiled down and reduced and caramelized into a smaller package. And
then,
those broadcast on Mondays and Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They are pre-recorded, not live. And you can find those at joystiq.com. Tune back in on Thursday. We've been doing a little something called blind streams, wherein I play something that I have absolutely no idea how to play and usually fail miserably at. And I will be playing Thief on Thursday at 4 p.m. Have any of you guys played Thief yet?
No.
Richard, Alexander, Susan?
Nope, but I will be joining you on that stream.
Yeah, Alexander will be there on the stream and in the chat and laughing at me, as he tends to do in these situations. Otherwise, that is it. Any final words? Susan, does Samus need to go and make the bed and iron my shirts?
I really need to check on the laundry.
You know what? You know those fabric softener balls you can put in the dryer that like they bounce around and they make your stuff soft? I've just realized like Samus could be her own fabric softener ball. She just hops in the dryer with her laundry. Curls up.
You need to make sure the clothes are springtime fresh.
Metroid!
You need to rotate your sheets.
Metroid, other fabric
Wait, I'm
softener.
in charge of stopping this, aren't I? All right.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Woo.